Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the show. I got a useless dog here on the floor, enjoying getting his back leg a little bit of scratch. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about this. Was a question from one of you. Apologies, can't remember who it was. But there's only about 2 comments per week, so it's pretty easy to figure out who these things are for, which leads me to a point. Wouldn't kill you to subscribe and drop a comment here and there. A question is great. If it's a good one, I can do a dedicated video on it. But let's jump in. The question was thoughts on home upgrades. Should you even bother if it's not your forever home? Well, let me start by not answering your question. If it is your forever home, do whatever the hell you want. If you're like, look, I'm planning on dying in this place, or my kids are going to send me off to a home, in which case I'll die there, but this is the last actual home that I would have. Do whatever the hell you want. I plan on being in my house long term, so eventually I'm going to build a speakeasy, roughly where I am right now, and some other cool. It's going to be like the ultimate man cave. It'll be super cool. If it's not your forever home, it depends. There's a few different variables here, which is, hey, I look at it like this. If it's for the sake of personal enjoyment, and let's just say that you're going to be there for a matter of years, you're like, look, it might not be our forever home, but we're going to be here for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, somewhere in that ballpark. And I would really enjoy the house a lot more if we put these upgrades into it, whether you pay cash for it or take it out of your equity in your home. I say go for it. Right? Like, life's too short. You might get hit by a bus next week. Am I making a depressing video right now talking about dying in homes, getting hit by buses? But you might get hit by a bus next week. So, hey, look, if you could do something to make your house more enjoyable for those years that you have in it before you get sent to the nursing home and all that stuff, as previously discussed, go for it. My advice would be try to do upgrades if you're going to do your kitchen or bathroom or whatever it is. Try to do it in a way that's going to be appealing to a wide group of buyers. If you're like, man, I've really got a thing for purple, like maybe steer away from like the purple paint in carpet so your house doesn't look like the Joker lives in it. Just a friendly bit of 2 cents. Because I have been in some homes before where you're like, bro, the fuck are you thinking, man? Like this is unacceptable to list a home like this. If you are planning on doing these upgrades or considering doing upgrades for the sake of strategy, aka you think your home is going to sell for significantly more because of doing these, you need to do some market research. If you have like a close friend who's into real estate, you could maybe ask them. I would recommend offer them a 6-pack of beer or $50 or something, or a bottle of whiskey for their time, so you don't make them do things for free that are work. But have them look at some comps and go, okay, a house roughly my size that is not upgraded or one that is upgraded, like what's the difference? Like, is this actually going to yield me any more money? Because you might honestly look at it and go, okay, if I go dump 30 grand into this kitchen, for example, then I'm going to get my 30 grand back when I sell it, plus like an extra 10 grand. Cool. Was it worth the hassle for having your life disrupted and having to come up with the 30 grand in order to have a net profit of 10 G's? You might go, look, it simply ain't worth the hassle. Like, I'll make 10 grand less and not have my life disrupted, right? So that's really like personal decisions. You just have to weigh it out. When it comes to things like carpet and paint, those are almost always a good idea, especially if they're in rough shape. If you're looking at your carpet and paint and you're like, I mean, honestly, they're fine. Like, they're not dinged up. It might be like, you know, a tad dated, not like massively dated, but like they're in good shape. Might not be worth it, right? But, you know, especially when things like that are kind of picky, aka a buyer might look at it and go, you know, new carpet and paint, but not the carpet and paint that I would have done. Now I got to change it out anyway, right? So sometimes it's more wise to just say, look, in the MLS, we're going to give you a credit for new carpet and paint. Therefore, maybe we can still get roughly the amount that we would get if we did the carpet and paint, except we don't have to do it, and you get to pick the colors of everything, right? Sometimes that's a good idea. So this isn't a super clear answer, but ultimately it's a matter of, it just depends. You just got to look at circumstances. I've had clients who are asking about carpet, and I said, look, based on your circumstances, nah, Just leave it. Understand that we might get a few grand less for the house, so you might make a little bit less money, but there's no hassle associated with it. And then some people are the opposite. They want to make as much money as they can, so they want to do upgrades. So consider it like that. Also, one last point on this would be it's market dependent. What I mean by that is if it's a heavy seller's market, right, which we are sort of coming out of right now, you really didn't need to upgrade shit. You could, right? And again, you might get more money from it, but in a seller's market, you simply don't need to. Like, people were desperate for housing, so they were going to buy stuff no matter what. Still, we're kind of there, even though a lot of people are pumping their brakes right now because of the interest rates. In a more of a balanced or even a buyer's market, yeah, you might have to work a little bit harder, right? You might have to put some lipstick on the house in order to get it sell for a decent price. So it just depends, guys. You really got to look at it. There's no black and white, here's the answer, this is how it goes. It's just not that simple, okay? I know that's how people like it to be, but it's not. So, quick bourbon hit. So this is from the Whiskey Blendery. So they are based out of Texas. I happen to have a friend in town from Texas. He brought me a bottle. This is their Double Jeopardy. I'm really excited about this. Fantastic bottle. It's like a double oaked kind of thing, like a Woodford Reserve double oak, except way higher proof. So it's 113.6, right? So about 57% alcohol by volume, or ABV. This is fantastic. It's basically like a private club around the Dallas area that, like, you know, it's like a whiskey club, and you get limited, exclusive access to some of these limited releases and things. This was cool. I had some messages with the owner last week, and I'm very jealous that it's in Texas and not in Utah. But if you are in Texas, right, highly recommend you check that out. I was very, very happy with that bottle. Anyway, if you guys need real estate help, let us know, whether myself or the dog here on the ground, one of us will get back to you, or someone else will someone will get back to you at the very least. We do pride ourselves on being an actual business that replies to people, unless it's just so stupid that we can't reply to it. I hope you guys are doing well. Subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.